it's on-chain. So it's the best way. There is no risk because it's on-chain. And when it's on-chain, that means that you have all the benefit of the blockchain. Hello, everyone, and welcome in a new episode of Digest by Robert. It's episode number 3, and on the today episode, we are going to cover where NFT store. Stay tuned and let the show begin. So, who would be interested on this subject? So, anyone joining the NFT space, and obviously NFT artists and a collector as well. And just to set up the expectation a little bit, here I'm going to provide some information, some example, not information, but example on the Ethereum blockchain, and it's what we are going to cover here. So let's do that. So first, what does Google say around where NFT store? So Google say an NFT, it's a unit of data store on a digital ledger called a blockchain, which can be sold or traded. So basically here we can end the show because Google provides the reply, and there is not much to say. So yes, it was just a joke, but basically as there is no much to say about where NFT store, what I decide to do is to turn that around where artwork related to an NFT is stored, and it's what we are going to cover here. So how does an artistic NFT work? So basically you have the NFT token, and you could have a digital art, an artwork related to the token. The difference between the old version of web and the new web, the web 3, is that the old version, you have to know where you want to find the information to find it. With the web 3, you need to know what you are looking for to find it. And so the new web make it possible to approach content by what it is rather than where it is. And NFTs are an example of the advantage that these represent. Here it's the ERC721 Ethereum request change 7-1. And basically this thing alone explain what NFT is. You have two main functions, and the first one is who is the owner of what, and the second one, you have the ability to transfer something to someone else. So basically these two things alone give a tangible explanation of why NFT it's non-fungible. So let's dig deeper. So what is the life cycle? So again, it's the life cycle, but it's going to be the life cycle around the artwork, not the NFT by itself. So around the artwork. So the artwork need to be generated. So it's either done manually or done by a program, and after you have to store it. When it's generated by an algorithm, you could have an hybrid approach where basically you have a designer that design some piece of some layer, and after you have an algorithm, and the algorithm is going to bring all the value in an input and randomize everything, and after create unique artwork, but best based on manual layer, draw by a designer. So here I'm going to show an example with the collection Avastar. So here the art of Avastar. So here what you can see is that the top 8, after you have the mouse, that could be the background. And here, if you do, the combination of top 8, vampire, zombie, you ended up with that. So if you change the top 8 like this and you put something else, basically, you ended up with something different, So this thing is provided by a program, but the layer to produce the artwork done by hand, So it's what I was referring to here. Or you could have everything done manually, So here I'm going to provide another example. And this it's really something that I don't own. It's just something that I look for on the marketplace, and that it's one piece. The creator, this creator draw all this thing. All the thing. It's a one and one, and it draw everything here. So you have the two way to generate the art. So that could be with the help of the algorithm or fully manual. After, there is three different kinds of storing the work. And to find out, you use the token URI function. So here I'm going to do a lab example, but to explain the idea, it's on the top you have the chain, and on the chain you have a token. The token live on the chain, basically the smart contract as well. So you go on the smart contract, and you have the ability to read the information around a token. And the smart contract is going to give the location of the artwork, basically. So it's the general ID, and after I'm going to cover the free way of storing the metadata, the artwork. So the first way, it's on-chain. So it's the best way, there is no risk because it's on-chain. And when it's on-chain, that means that you have all the benefit of the blockchain, meaning that there is you can't fake something, or you can't it's true by default because it's on the blockchain. And it's the first way to do it. The second way, it's decentralized. Decentralized stand by it's off-chain, basically, but it's off-chain, but not on something centralized. It's decentralized. So here the risk, it's around the link management and the file storage. So the link management, it's around the fact that when you go on the chain and you read on the smart contract and you gather the information, there is a link here. This information is going to provide a link, and is this link, the link that said, okay, go here to have to access the artwork, it's where you could have an issue. There is a risk around this link management, and also around the storage of the art also. So when it's decentralized, what's tend to be the consensus today as the best solutions to use, it's ePFS. And so ePFS, a quick view. In fact, basically, you have a unique ID generated during storage in the ePFS system, and this ID number will point to a storage location, and that stores the CID in the metadata of the issued NFT token. So basically, what does that mean? That means that you have the ability to search something, as I said, with what it is, not where it is. So you tell to the system, okay, I'm looking that, you provide the ID, and you will be able to find it with ePFS. So ePFS stands for Interplanetary Filing System. So to put it really simple, if you are more than 30, you probably know Emule, and the donkey when there is a peer-to-peer. So it's kind of a system like this, it's a peer-to-peer network basically. And to have access to one file, the system need at least one copy. That means the more copy, the safer. But if there is one copy, it's a work also. And so in a nutshell, ePFS offers you to download a file from many places on the internet, whether or not it is managed by centralized storage. And again, it's a content-based addressing and not a location-based addressing. The solution today are Pinata, Infura, Airware, and NFT storage. But IPFS, it's not perfect. So here I'm going to read the main disadvantage. It's the long-term storage. So storing data using a personal IPFS node, it's easy, but can be inconvenient since you have to manage your own hardware. So this problem gave rise to pinning services, paid services that allow you to upload your data to a remotely hosted IPFS node and retrieve it whenever you want. However, while paying a pinning service to store data is a convenient workaround, it still requires someone to bear the cost of storing that data. If that one sponsor stop paying for that pinning, the content may be lost entirely. While IPFS guarantees that any content on the network is discoverable, it doesn't guarantee that any content is persistently available. This is where Filecoin come in. So basically, the nutshell here is just to say that IPFS is great to give a solution to discoverability around asset, but it's not by design something for long-term storage. Here, and it's why Pinata, exists, and it's basically a service that you use, and Pinata is going to pin every month, or that depend of the frequency. But basically, Pinata is going to do the pinning for you just to make the file available. And so Sam Williams, the founder of Airwave, told to Decrypt in an interview, contract is different from data. And that means that the contract can still exist while the data disappear. And IPFS, Sam Williams said, is a system for addressing data, but not storing data. So that was the second way to storing the artwork. And the last one, it's completely off-chain. And this one, it's where there is the more risk. Why? Because there is a risk around the link management, around the file storage. If the company stops storing the file, the NFT lose its value. And if the storage system stop working, the NFT lose also its value. So basically here, there is a huge risk when it's totally off-chain, basically. And so in abstract, what we can say it's like a risk barometer. It's very high when it's totally off-chain. It's middle when it's decentralized, and basically there is no risk when it's on-chain. So the importance of knowing the storage risk. A purchased NFT can be lost or changed in several ways. So the token with the smart contract may not be directly linked to the asset. Or the asset could be on a centralized provider that could eventually shut down. The NFT could just link to a URL, which means anything stored from that URL can be changed. It's not fixed, basically. And for IPFS, the file can still become unavailable if the asset is stored on IPFS and only one node store it and go disconnect from the network. When you upload to IPFS, there is no guarantee that your data will be replicated. And it's why there is such services like Pinata. So here it's all the storage risk, and it's what you need to factor in when you do your due diligence around a token. Okay, so we are going to do a live demonstration. So right now I have the information. So for Avastar, so here I have selected this token just for the purpose of the demonstration. So we go on copy the token ID. Here we go on the smart contract, and we are going to use the Wonder Avastar function. And when we do that, all this string information, all this thing, it's not a JPEG, it's on the blockchain. All this thing, all this thing, it's all this thing, it's what you see visually here, but all these things live on the blockchain and it's here. You have the information here. So that stands for the on-chain. For IPFS, okay, like this. So token ID 1. No, you have that. And let me check. Yes, it's that. So what I have to do, I have to open another web page, and I'm going to show you. So I go on gateway.pinata.cloud/IPFS. So here you have the information. So here on IPFS, the image it's here. So it's what, it's not where, it's what. So when you check that, you are able to find this artwork. Off-chain, I don't have an example here, but I do have an example of metadata missing. So it's on the collection Ethermon. So I'm going to copy that. Boom, boom. Contract. Like this. Boom, boom, boom. And as you see, there is nothing. So I just made a live demonstration for on-chain, for IPFS, so decentralized. Off-chain, I don't find something, so I can't show it to you guys, and metadata missing as well. Open question: what is the cost to store digital art on Ethereum? I don't know what is a reply. So if you know someone, basically, if you know someone that is able to reply to any of these questions, please make the connection just to have a more detailed material. So what is the cost to store digital art on Ethereum? What is the standard for storing NFT artworks? There is the three ways that I have explained, but maybe there is other ways that I don't know. And do you have an example of someone removing the metadata from an NFT token in purpose? And if so, why this person did that? So in abstract, what we have seen is where the artwork related to an NFT is stored, and the abstract is check all the content it's stored, because based on the way that it's stored, you could have a ramification from that. The collector mindset should be the go to zero, meaning that you should anticipate that if the company or the artist disappear, that could affect the NFT associated to it. And for collector, only persistence matters, so that means safety and security. And so persistent, it's more of an issue for someone buying artwork or collectibles more than for people buying in-game items. I'm not very, very confident about it, but just that. So in abstract, it's check all the content it's stored. The collector mindset, it's the go to zero. You should be comfortable with it, and persistence matter. And so for that, you need to know how to check, what to check, and the ramification of the way to store the artwork. So I hope that this video is going to help you to I hope that you learn something new, and basically it's all for today. So I wish that you are well, and see you later. Bye.